What is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today we are back in Need for Speed. Now, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Freeroam. We're going to be taking a look at some events. And one of the first things you notice right off the bat, I think, is, well, obviously this is a different 240SX, but, and there were a couple of crashes in the beginning. But one of the things you notice right off the bat is kind of the, just how the, kind of the atmosphere of the city and how many different kind of reflections are going on at once. And it's kind of like when you first jump into it, you don't really notice it as much because you're kind of focusing on actually driving the car. But once you start to look around a little bit more, you realize how much there is going on visually. And I think that, to me, that adds a little bit of extra depth to it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times when you're playing a racing game, normally you're paying attention to the car, and then when you start to look at things besides the car, then it starts to kind of get, certain racing games start to get a little bit kind of diluted a little bit. Whereas this game, you kind of start to look around and you're like, whoa, there's actually like more to look at around here. But even though the cars are such a primary focus. Now, I will be completely upfront and say that the first two corners in this drift event were complete and utter fails. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat that one bit. The first corner and the second corner, as you just saw, were both just completely failed, 100%. But the drifts do start to get better throughout this event. I'm still trying to get used to the drifting. It's just a technique that you have to develop over time. And I mean, you will. It's not like by any means it's not like impossible or anything like that. It's actually a really fun drift system. It's actually a fun and kind of almost like intuitive feeling drift system. But at the same time, like any drifting system, you're gonna have to practice. You're gonna have to get used to it. And I almost went the complete wrong way. And I think that's the only thing that I was like, that I did a couple of times was, in a couple of the events. I don't know why it was, but I did go the wrong way a couple times. And I don't know, maybe that's because I don't know if I wasn't paying attention enough or what. Maybe I have to get used to the just kind of like the style of the arrows, on the road. But just because it's different than kind of your normal style of arrows kind of at the side of the course or whatever. But I think this, it's just another thing you have to get used to as far as, as you go through the game. But short event, first place, not too bad. But to go back into Freeroam a little bit, I think the thing to remember with this game is that there's almost like it's weird because the night almost feels sort of a little bit more alive than a lot of other games that you may have played as far as racing games go. And I think that that's important because, to me, I've always preferred racing games in the daytime over racing games at night, just because of the fact that I like the feeling of the game world feeling alive. And a lot of the racing games that are set at night just kind of feel like what is there going on? You know what I mean? But with this game, there's an atmosphere to it. There's an atmosphere to the night. It feels very, what's the word I'm looking for? It feels very, almost like vibrant. It's got this kind of energy to it that you don't really kind of see in anything else. It's a really cool sensation to kind of experience that energy in a game like this. It makes the game world start to come alive in ways you wouldn't expect it to. So I think that really sets it apart a little bit, and I feel like there's a lot to be said for making the night feel alive. And I completely screwed up the car, but I think that though too, I could have avoided that truck. I really could have avoided that truck. That's not definitely not my best traffic car avoidance. But I think that though too, doing time trials, I mean, I've always been a fan of doing time trials. I've always been a fan of doing kind of more solo events than races. But for some reason, the time trial events, they really kind of, I don't know, they just kind of click with me. And I feel like you find that one event that really clicks with you, and you really stick with it. You're like, I want to do more time trials. I want to do more time trials. I want to do just more time trials. But then at the same time, I mean, obviously, yeah, you want to do more races. You want to do more drifts. But I feel like once you find that main type of event that you're like, yes, I like this a lot, and I want to do more of these, then you're just you get very attached, and you kind of want to seek out as many of those as you possibly can. I mean, and again with the drifting, it's just something you're gonna have to get used to. It's something I had to get used to, something I had to practice. And the nice thing about it is that they keep changing up the style of courses. I mean, the course we did earlier was very, kind of a very, I mean, it was a very symmetrical course. You know, you were very kind of going from one block to the other block, and it was very, you know, kind of in an industrial area, so very symmetrical. This is a little bit different. I didn't quite have the style down, and honestly, that's just something that's going to develop over time. I mean, again, the style of drifting in this game is just something that you're going to have to practice, and I think with time, that practice is going to really pay off. I mean, I'm sure that shortly after this game releases, we're going to be starting to see some incredible drifting from a lot of people, but I think the thing is, like I said, it all depends on how much practice you have. It all depends on how much time you get to practice. And, you know, I mean, like with everything, it's going to, with practice, you're going to develop over time, and you're going to become a drift beast. Pretty much, you're going to become a drift beast. But if you guys enjoyed this first look into the gameplay side of Need for Speed, then don't forget to leave me a like. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought of it. And don't forget to subscribe for more. There'll be more gameplay of Need for Speed coming soon. And I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later.